Direwolves. I think that this is a game where I want to come out, I want to show that we could pick up games, I want to prove that we're closer to being that, you know, Pool 1 team, and that we are continuing to learn from our international tournaments, because you've got to remember that Pentagram, formerly Rampage, this is the third or fourth time they've started to come out as well. Direwolves, this is their third time that they've come to an international tournament, and we really do need to start seeing the growth of these regions.
Absolutely do, and that's something you want to prove as well, that your region can start to go toe-to-toe, is starting to move up in the world, and Direwolves 2-3, maybe not the scoreline that they hope for, but ending 3-3 is at least a step in the right direction after their record last year. And at this point, Pentagram playing for pride, it does feel like.
Yeah, absolutely. You do not want to go home 0-6. That feeling would suck. But unfortunately, that is what Pentagram is now looking down the barrel of. And right now, Ushi, like as you said, Direwolves going 3-3. That's, you know, a neutral scoreline. That's a 50-50.
And of course, 50-50, something they can work for now. It is that serious draft we expected. Caitlyn going to be the first pick locked in. See what the response is from Direwolves. Jin there. We'll catch you up on the bans. Fiora, Graves, Swain. Opposite side is Kai'Sa, Rakan, and GP. So meta power on both sides. Looking to be pretty stock standard thus far.
And if, you know, we track how Pentagram's pick ban has gone, I expect to see something like a Morgana and something like a Karma to come out. You know, get around that Karma mid lane. Oh, that's actually not going to be a Karma. That's going to be a Vladimir.
And we've already seen how good Triple can be on that Vladimir. Taking that away from him seems to be a solid pick for the LJL.
Absolutely, and we said that one of the response picks to that is a Karma. However, with a Jin, that's not the pickup you want to go towards, because it's not really buffing up the hyper carry. So instead, they'll just go towards what they normally do, utility bottom lane, get some CC out of that jungle. Whether it's going to be something like a Sejuani or a Zac, Shern can still start putting the camp on that bottom lane and let your self-sufficient solo lanes go to work.
The Azir will be locked in, so picking something that he feels comfortable on up against that Vladimir in the mid lane. Of course, the potential for the flex pick is still there, although recently Hatch has been the mid lane Vladimir.
Yeah, and Azir used to do pretty poorly into Vladimir. The reason being is that you had to go Nash's Tooth. Morellonomicon was normally the build that would shut down some of the aggression that comes out of Vladimir. However, since the mage itemization changes, it's very easy to go Nash's into Morello, still get that debuff, but also gives you some magic penetration. So his 2-item spike much better in this matchup. And I want to see if that's swinging it at all in the favor of Azir. Generally, mid laners that have pushed well early and then have legitimate kill threat later is how you deal with Vladimir. And if there is a champion that can go toe-to-toe in team fight AoE damage with the powerhouse that is the Blood Mage, it will certainly be the Emperor of Shurima.
Absolutely will be. Of course, we see LeBlanc banned out as well, just ensuring that that is not a flex pick. They don't want to see those negative matchups. Gnar to follow, Camille, Pentagram taking their time with their last ban. But I like this from Triple. We saw him be a huge force for this team. They're putting the carry priority on him. They have the utility in the hands of King. Triple now bearing the kind of the brunt of the damage burden.
And you can see this is going to be a little bit of a change-up from how Direwolves normally play. They normally run their carry threats through mid and top, and then Shern is relegated to playing, you know, a little bit more CC heavy. With all of the carry top laners gone, Nag, Gangplank, Camille, Aurelia, Fiora, Swain, Kai'Sa, potentially. It looks like Chippies is probably going to be something like Maokai or Poppy. So they pick up Shern to carry instead, and they'll run the tanks through support and top lane, which is something that the Direwolves are honestly not as practiced with.
It's very true. We did see it a little bit in their finals. Was a bit of a struggle in some of those games. We saw some very back and forth matches when they were finally able to take it 3-2 in the end. And now as we look at it, Pentagram potentially rounding out their composition with a solid tank on the top side. And you know, your Chippies, most of the carries are banned away. Do you have something special, or will we see something more tank focused, something less in the comfort zone of the Direwolves?
So he's played 4 games of Poppy, 1 game of Maokai, 1 game of Orc. That is all of Chippy's tank play. This will be his first game of Shen, the entirety of this split. And I've casted the OPL for, I think, 5 years now. I don't remember him picking the champion ever.
And I mean, we know now that this is a serious game. And when you think about it, this is not the time to take big risks. So we have to assume that Direwolves got a plan here, that there's something that they need to execute on to make this Shen work. Because on the opposite side, I mean, you look at that team, you see that Vladimir and that Caitlyn paired together, you make mistakes. Both those champions are going to tear you down so quickly.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, Pentagram as a team, their 80 carry is just very good. Yutori Moyashi, even though he hasn't had the best tournament around this time, I think that's more the support pieces falling away. He did get soloed out by Elise, which wasn't his highlight. But I think this is a guy that you can certainly build a composition around. And amplification of damage, you know, having the Black Shield as well as all of the peeling threats that's going to come out of, you know, Olaf as well as Sion late game. They really have set him up to have a big carry performance with Ramune. And this lineup, Ramune plus Yutori Moyashi, was the lineup that took down the GPL at Rift Rivals. So we know when the game goes well for them, they can carry.
Absolutely can as we gear up for our last game. But I want to talk a little bit about the compositions, a little bit about what each team is looking to do here, Spawn. How do we expect
the Nexus?
That's how, Spawn. How do they destroy it? Do not say auto attack it.
Well, technically that is the only way. Actually, creeps can run over it. What am I saying? Failing with the color.
Here we go. Game 6, ladies and gentlemen. The OPL versus the LJL. One final match here on the final day of play-in groups. Rampage on the blue side, or Pentagram, excuse me, on the blue side. Direwolves on the red.
Absolutely, and if we want to break down what these T comps are hoping to do, they're actually both very similar. They're both very good front-to-back team fighters. However, the dive threat will be coming out of Ramune on the side of Pentagram, and it'll be coming out of Cupcake and Schönfire, potentially Chippies even, because Azir by himself can shove the front line onto the back line and keep that Jhin safe. So as long as you check where Paz is engaging from, you can send 3 people at Yutori Moyashi, try and take him down, and try and limit the damage threats that will be coming out of Pentagram.
See if they can execute on that plan. We do have, of course, in the bottom lane Morgana to kind of help make sure that that doesn't happen. And we did see the last time these two teams went head-to-head. Goldgraph very close, very even till that late game. We hit that break point, post 20-minute mark, where you just saw the whole game blow wide open. And we have to wonder if this is going to be the same thing, if we're going to see that slow, steady early game, or if we're going to see the Direwolves up the pace.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is a small thing that we generally see with a lot of the teams that come out of the LJL. And I think it's because they have a high propensity to take in 2 Korean imports because of the proximity to that country. And what that means is during laning phase, they can play with the best of them. They've got very talented individuals. As soon as mid-game hits, some of their wards, some of their vision control does fall apart, and they do tend to struggle. 25 minutes, that's not all that late into the game. That's probably 2.5 items. Majority of your carries going towards 3, looking for the setup around that Baron. And that is the area that Pentagram and the LJL as a whole region needs to shore up. They're fine in laning phase. They don't really do all that much. They're good late game as far as team fighting goes, but that mid game can at times be incredibly sloppy. That's why the pace of their games looks so incredibly slow.
Definitely the case. King, though, continuing to try to trade aggressively in this lane, not getting the best of it, though, in some small instances.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter all that much because he runs boots 4. This is something that we see King a lot. He wants to get the creep wave back off. He wants to play that war of attrition. Whereas Caitlyn going to be using the auto attacks onto the creep. That's why you start Dorian's Blade in this matchup to be able to shove the lane in. And it's just, you know, conflicting styles of what the AD carries want to do, but King won't be all that bothered.
Okay, just gonna use the head back. Push back, make sure that they get a little bit more XP, making sure that they can farm safely. And King using the boots, using that movement speed, threatening on the 4th shot.
Chippies
so far. And Chippies, we were wondering how this pick would work out. Is at least trading well for now, but is getting forced out kind of as expected up against the Sion.
Yeah, absolutely. And Sion's going to make you play against the creep wave for the majority of it. He's going to repetitively kick it into the turret. We see actually an early invade coming out of once.
Schönfire smites that one away.
That's actually really, you know, without being too overcritical, once needs to be able to land stuff like that because Morgana had open track in. You could see Ramune had already cheated down. That could have potentially been a summoner spell, which means, honestly, Schönfire cannot gank pre-6 if that's the case, if the flash is gone. However, shorts the first axe. That means immediately the play dissolves, and you've already cheated so much pressure into the river. And you can see all the vision down there. Well, that Scuttle Crab nullifies a lot of that. So that's one thing I would like to see improve from Pentagram is taking advantage of those small little early game, you know, windows to be able to create a bigger lead.
Yeah, and you can see that the window continues to kind of be available on the top side of the map as Sion mounts that pressure. Vladimir's still pushing in there. So
they've got 3 pushing lanes right now. If you had a flashless jungler and you were once like on this pickup, he's also got an interesting build right now. Let's not talk about that.
We'll hold that thought. Has potentially in trouble, has pushed very
has to
far.
flash the wall.
Fire. Waiting for a bit of time, taking his time. Once is definitely on the way. There's the Predator. Chippies has to flash out to safety. Once can't just close this out. Goes in, gets 1 kill. Wants 1 more.
Oh, he should have kept on going there. He had full health. Could have looked for it. However, meanwhile, bottom lane. Cupcake steps on a trap.
Excellent trap placement comes in from Yutori Moyashi to make sure they get a little bit of extra damage down. Beautiful Caitlyn play coming through the flash forward. The auto attack King may just be next on the menu. Move forward, the flash binding, no chance to dodge it. Goodbye.
And this is what I am talking about. Yutori Moyashi leading King and Cupcake into those traps over and over again. The placement was beautiful. And this lane was already bad enough for the Direwolves. They were getting shoved in. Now 2 kills. That is going to be BF Sword plus versus just the Swiftness boots. This is going to be very hard. And as we saw up top lane, Paz was going very aggressive, wanted to crash the 4 creeps because that meant that the wave would have been unfrozen. However, baits it perfectly, walks around the corner so he's out of Fog of War, starts channeling up that axe. Once with the beautiful micro play, could have continued chasing that. You can see this is actually aggression that comes out of the Direwolves. And look at the lead into the traps. The next one, also very good, changes his path, means the heal has to come out. Not going to be quick enough to escape. And they're just on the same page. They know when they want to commit. And perfect layering of CC.
And that's the thing. You have the Alistair, you have the threat of the all-in, but the second it does not work, the turnaround from the Caitlyn Morgana is so oppressive, and it only gets worse. You already talked about it. Swifties and a dagger here for King up against Boots BF Sword. On top of the range advantage Caitlyn already has, this is brutal.
Yeah, absolutely. Once goes back, sells his second machete, picks himself up a Red Smart Ruby Crystal. That kill would help him a lot with the mispurchase because it means now he's not behind. He's being able to equalize those items, actually has boots up. It's going to be, this is the mind game that we're going to see out of, actually, no, we're not.
Oh,
probably going to die.
There's too much CC. Moyashi backing off. King going to miss the stare, not the trade that they want. But this is so difficult. You can already see Alistair out of pots, relying on the Relic Shield for a little bit of extra healing.
Absolutely. And what I was talking about, Cupcake, he's going to sit there, he's going to headbutt, and he's going to see when does the Black Shield come out. And then eventually, when he has his flashback available, what you can do is you can headbutt Flash Pole. And if the Black Shield doesn't come out during the headbutt, there's a small window where you CC, not able to get that down. Shern, actually, this is what I love to see. Pushing lanes. Look at all the vision in Shernfire's jungle. He has absolutely nowhere to go without being spotted on this side of the map.
And this is the kind of play we were expecting more from the LJL when they initially entered the tournament.
Here we go.
Once chasing down, making sure they can hold on to that vision, forcing Shernfire out of that side of the jungle. Him still working towards level 6. And that evolution, for now, once definitely owns the map.
And what they did is they protected their vision. And you might say they didn't get anything out of it. Yes, they did. They got a prolonged amount of time that's, 75 gold plus whatever a Green Ward would cost you nowadays. Can't actually purchase them. That they're able to save. But more importantly, if Sherm wants to go back to his jungle, wants to hand over Blue Buff, wants to take Wolf Camp, he knows that he's going to be on vision the second time. And sure, then he might be able to clear it, but it will give once an opportunity to either punish same side of the map or to potentially make that play topside.
The thing is, set up to do so now, it's going to be so much easier for Paz as the Ocean Drake does drop down to maintain that pressure on the top side of the map, and additionally denying that from the Direwolves. And Triple, who not going to build a mana item for a long time, would have loved to have a bit of extra regen.
Yeah, absolutely. You can see Shern actually going to go for the invade. I know that a lot of time mid laners don't like when this happens because it generally means you're trading. You can see once right now, does the right thing, pulls back into the wave's going to crash, brings over gang, brings over Yutori Moyashi. That means that Triple, that person you said wanted the blue buff, isn't going to get it. In fact, Shern took his. And Ramune, he's a Vladimir. He doesn't give a damn. It's just 75 gold and some cooldown reduction to him.
Absolutely does not need it. And unfortunate too, because Ramune, having the option to go Shurelius means he completes his first item quite early, and it's going to be a little bit less comfortable for Triple in this laning phase as well, especially without that blue buff now. Shernfire continues to clear towards the top side. May be able to get something done there, but it's so difficult to stop this sign.
There you go. 441 days since Chippy's played Shen. And yeah, you can see right now he's down 15 CS, already given up a kill. It is not going all that great for him. There is some that he's about to collect.
I mean, you just don't have wave clear. You have to spend most of your time under the tower there. And additionally, Ocean Drake on top of it means that Sion just gets to endlessly push that top lane.
And he's a really annoying champion to get pushed in by, because he's literally kicking stuff at you. He's slamming the ground. He's got this obnoxious shield. I'm not a huge fan of Sion.
I like him because the ult is cool, the CC is cool.
I like the ult.
But I agree that laning against Sion seems like a nightmare, which is why I'm glad he's not a jungler.
But what I do appreciate, one lumberjack to the other, is the checkered shirt and the suspenders. I am a big fan of that. This is going to be Shern. Level 7, he's actually quite accelerated in this game, looking for a gank bottom lane.
See, standing just outside the bush, saving the passive proc to sneak into the lane, but there's a trap right there. And they know it's there.
They've pinged it out a couple of times as well.
Can't get locked in by the binding. A little bit of a bait there. Fire stealthed up. They're still going to try to find Yutori Moyashi. Going to take a lot of damage immediately. The flash out to safety, but once is here for the turn and burn. Cupcake, still true damage, coming in on the reckless swing. Once now running into the middle of everything, and down goes the Kha'Zix. Pentagram putting on an early game masterclass. Chippies not going to find anything in the mid lane.
Yeah, absolutely. Had to burn the ultimate. Now all of a sudden Sion on his turret, and what a great turnaround play from Once. This is what I said. When you have the vision on the Raptor camp, when you have it on that path into blue buff. Oh, what a binding!
All right, no ace in the hole. Already used to get a kill once. Once, though. May try to get another one, but it's going to settle for the Gromp instead.
Yeah, that's actually really dedicated play, because if that was me, I'm running into that.
Oh, I'm flashing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Even if you don't need it, I'm over that wall in a heartbeat.
Yeah, completely agree, but that is what vision control gives you. It's not important to know exactly where the jungle is. It is important to know where he is not at that time in the game. And they knew Shern wasn't on chickens. They knew he wasn't around the curvature of that blue buff. So he must have gone through lane. Top lane, no play there. Mid lane, probably no play there. And actually, he stepped over a ward coming in. That is beautiful vision control by the LJL lineup.
Absolute diligence here, and you can just see how quickly this play turns against
Well,
them.
they knew it was a bait. Black Shield comes out, no CC going to be there. Yutori Moyashi isn't greedy with a summoner spell, burns a flash that saves the heal, and then they just know that Once has the damage to get it done. They give the kills over to the right targets. Like, everything about that is just very solid League of Legends.
And now Fire has to run for his life, stealthing up. Gerald aggroed there. Not clear if he has the jump, may just be holding onto it as long as possible. Triple now the one who could be in trouble.
Ulti and Ignite available.
Crimson Rush could come in. Ooh, playing a back and forth here, trying to get Ramone to pick his targets. He split his decision making. That may be bad news for him. Triple gonna get the plus side of the trade, but not quite enough to close it out.
Yeah, absolutely. Triple gonna get the push in here. Probably gonna mean that Once has to come across and cover the lane, or they can swap to the spell book and try and get Vladimir in there as quickly as possible. King, what the heck? That's a lot of damage. All right.
Caitlyn still clearly quite far ahead of the Jhin. As you can see, just bits and pieces of the Essence Reaver coming together for King. Of course, we already have the boots too.
2v3 this time. Shernfire looking for Yutori Moyashi again.
Gonna open up on the Morgana. Black Shield already coming out. Instantly the headbutt pulverizes there. Black Shield already used, means the Caitlyn is wide open. Cupcake can use the ultimate, but Once is here again for the counter gang. Cupcake buying time for Zadie Carey to get out, but he's sacrificed in the end. Kill. Gonna be picked up by Once in the end. Doesn't want to give it over to the Caitlyn, but just beautiful counter game.
Yeah, absolutely. And Once did want to give it over to Caitlyn. He actually let the Alistar survive for as long as possible. Knew he was going to be able to outpace. Now you can see Ramune actually coming up into this top lane. And King, you better run fast.
King now gonna have to run for his life. Flash already burned. Once hungry for another kill, but Pentagram just continue to dominate the map. 6K gold lead for Pentagram. And Shernfire.
Yeah, straight axe would actually take him down right now.
Grasping at straws right now. Where's he going to go? He can't walk in that vision. He's just waiting. Needs to back. Feels comfortable enough to go through that bush and try to make it out, but ooh, taking some risks there just to secure his own buff.
And right now, Pentagram is absolutely dominating the Direwolves. This is a team that is 0-5 in the group. Direwolves would be so incredibly disappointed after the fact that they've already gone 0-2 on the day. But to go 0-3 to turn that day one effort into, honestly, a disappointment for the Oceanic region and disappointment for the Direwolves after how strongly they started. Have to feel for them. And this is Shern again trying to make that desperation play. Unfortunately, as it is onto the support, that means Yutori Moyashi is going to be able to pump out damage. Very nice ultimate. You can see once again, the player that we were honestly looking to step up for the LJL has been able to be in the position for the counter gank every single time.
Been fantastic this game. It was rough. And even in this game, you saw Double Machete for a moment, you thought, oh, this is rough. He misses the first opportunity as well, but has turned it around so beautifully. 2-0-2 now, and this early game proficiency, we did see in their matchup versus Supermassive, there were hints of a stronger team. You can see they got that lead. Yes, they could not close it, But there was a long time there where Pentagram looked like they might just win the game.
And we're talking about a completely different level of leaders. That's a very nice bind.
Absolutely beautiful. Yutori Moyashi now on a rampage. Azir, no chance. The immediate Rift Herald follow-up. They are accelerating the pace of the game. No more slow and steady LJL. They're going for the kill.
Yeah, absolutely. And Sher might be in some trouble. Does dodge out of that CC. And you can see with the charge from the Rift Herald, this will be the 2-for-1 special. You'll have to pick it up. Saturday shopping is nice and fun. And right now, there's just no stopping them. I mean, we saw, what was it, 2,500 gold to 15 minutes was their biggest lead so far? This one's going to be about 8 Dracos.
In a difficult spot, you can see Once completely unafraid. He knows he can step forward, knows the team is there to back him up. Another tower falling, and Chippy's maybe in another game, he would have been able to trade 1-for-1 on the objectives, but not this time around. Surnefire, though, they look to get something back. Not going to get anything in the end. Walking away, Ramune too healthy. Out comes the Sion ulti to make sure Shen can't get anything more, and instead, the rest, Pentagram just going to settle for this Mountain Drake. Take every objective they can.
See where they're able to actually catch him. Shen's going to go over the wall. Once misses the wall, so that's very nice. We'll get the flash out. But I want to actually cast our mind back. Actually, maybe not yet. No.
Finding.
Good.
Sidestep. Chippy's still in enemy territory here. They're just going to walk away, though, a bit too tanky.
I want to cast our mind back to the draft. And what has changed? Why does this look so different? Direwolves as a team want to play around their solo lane. We already said that. They want to set themselves up for success as, this bind. That is just very, very nice play. And as you can see, the Emperor's Divide doesn't mean anything because Caitlyn just outranges it. It's one of the reasons why long-range AD carries always done well against Azir, something like a Jinx.
And I mean, on top of that, insult to injury, she's so far ahead, she's not even worried about the wave clear of a static shift. She's just going rapid fire cannon to make sure when she hits those first few shots, that last one can always close it out.
Yeah, absolutely. And what I was going to say is now they've got themselves a scaling mid lane and nothing as aggressive as a Vladimir as well as a Shen. Meant that Surnefire had to play around the Jhin Alistar.
X-Flash, Cupcake looking for the play. They're immediately going to take down Kang.
They weren't able to do this enough because we know that the LJL, we know that Pentagram right now want to play around their bottom lane. And so far, Yutori Moyashi as well as Gang have been able to navigate that with the help of their jungler. Now Ramune looking to get in here.
Ooh, just threatening. Could flash in an ult any moment. Of course, the ult on cooldown. So just posturing, letting them know that they need to back off on the side of the Direwolves.
And the thing for the Direwolves, it isn't over. They still have great dive threat. They can still blow one person up, as we saw. That wasn't even with the Shen ultimate to keep someone up and healthy. The big thing is it needs to stop being the support Morgana. They need to be able to get onto Yutori Moyashi. They need to be able to blow up the AD carry. But, I mean, they'll take what they're given at the moment. And that was a free kill. Very nice use of the Hex Flash. Not something you always suspect.
Definitely well played. Unfortunately, that play now being utilized may mean that Pentagram respond with some more proactive vision around defending those towers. And right now, they're proactively going to try to take down Chippies. Once debating between the camp and the kill, but he sees the kill. An easy ask at this stage of the game. The knockup comes in, burning down from the Olaf's true damage, and all too easy to grab yet another one for Pentagram.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you're Chippies, you have no business being there. You have no vision in the split push right now. Needs to be able to get some vision out for himself. But ultimately, the whole map now belongs to Pentagram. Unless they're catching waves under their tier 2s, there's just nowhere for them to be. And the peel and the setup just means that Caitlyn can really take whatever she wants. Another full creep wave going to crash. And I mean, they potentially get a mid lane cover back in response. Top lane as well, so it's a 2-for-1 trade. But at this stage of the game, to lose so many structures just means it's snowballing incredibly quickly.
On top of the gold lead, they have the banner as well. They're stopping the backs now. They want to break an inhibitor here. Only Azir is on the way to stop. They're buying so much time by canceling these. Surnefire maybe hoping to take down Once. Level 11 to level 10. Once knows that support is on the way. But meanwhile, the tower is breaking. Not going to push for anything more. Let's see. Pentagram grouping back together, not looking to expose any weakness.
Yeah, I mean, at a certain point, near enough is good enough because they do have the banner of command. They can look to just put it bottom lane again. In fact, they just stick around. They go for it. Triple now looking for the play, but it isn't on the table because there's an 8,000 gold lead at 18 minutes.
It's just too hard to pull this off. They need multiple members of the Direwolves to pick off a single exposed member. And reinforcements are simply too close by. We have 2 Shirelias, 2 Righteous Glories.
Yeah, they move quick.
Yeah, you can't be anywhere near this team. You have to know 100% that your target is isolated or someone will be on top of you in an instant. Sion ult on top of that. And Ramune, of course, just clearing the wave here.
Just threatening with the ultimate, saying, if you do not respect it, I will take you down. You do not get this mid lane turret yet. Means there's so much pressure on the mid lane priority. Baron is going to be coming up. There's only a top lane tier 2 outer left available. And I mean, they don't have the best Baron composition in Pentagram, but when you're this far ahead, does it really come down to composition? They've got an IE.
You have a Mountain. You have an Olaf. You got a tank. Body block it. It's probably going to be enough if they find the opportunity. Schernfire, though, of course, as long as he doesn't drop, the threat of the 50-50 is always there.
And he's a player that thrives on the pressure of the 50-50. He says in scrims, you know, leave it up, I'll go in, I'll go get it. He loves to practice it. He loves to get in Oceanic Jungle's head. But unfortunately, game isn't going his way yet, but he is equal in experience, and that's all that matters when it comes to Smite. Going to have that camouflage to be able to get out of brushes as well.
Very true, and we check in, of course, Azir still with a substantial CS lead over the opposition. 80 carries even. Shen finally starting to catch back up, so kill gold, objective gold, clearly in favor of Pentagram, no doubt there, but for now, Direwolves are keeping up in terms of farm.
And Triple's even up in experience, which is a gold value in itself. As you start to level up through the game, you do get more stats, and you can see right now, he's actually up 600 gold. In a game where you're down 6,000, to have a mid laner up, it's not the worst thing.
2,500, maybe a little more in the hands of that Caitlyn.
Just like that, Shen. Scratch my back a little bit more, says Paz.
It's been a long day being a lumberjack, chopping down that Shen.
The massage was appreciated. Triple, that's a face check.
Not what you want. Bind it cannot connect. Does not in the end, means Triple will survive. If that had hit, it would have been a death sentence. Cupcake, though, still has to be careful here. Sped up by the first Shurelias. There could be a second to follow if they want to use it. The Alistar locked down. Righteous Glory coming out. Paz may just look the decimated smash. Not a good spot to set up. King, knowing he gets the extra movement speed, actually just poking. Give it a bit of a tickle there.
Yeah, absolutely. You can see right now that they just want to get some vision access towards this Baron buff because they know that that is what is on the table, and if it goes down, they lose the game. But unfortunately for the Direwolves, Pentagram are just being so diligent. Look at how dark the map is. All three waves on their side of the map.
Schernfire using the stealth as best he can. That is one boon that the Direwolves have. Yep. Stealth lets them get in and out of the jungle pretty easy as long as there's not a Scryer's Bloom or a sweeper there to spot him out.
And they've done this pretty patiently. They've backed away when they need to. They've got aggressive when they can. They're trying to get as deep a vision as they are allowed. Second Mountain Drake will go over. That should allow Shern to just duck in and throw something down here. There it is. And I mean, he's going to be going up against a second Mountain Drake team with a 6,000, 7,000 gold lead. He does need to have some form of vision around here.
Has to know it's coming. Let's see. Blue trinkets, none available. So sadly, Direwolves, if this does go down, they're going to have to be willing to commit for this. Azir, of course, 1.5 items, getting closer to 2. But of course, Caitlyn already on 2.
Was he spotted?
Let's get spotted out, but still considered out of combat because he doesn't get hit by anything. So the stealth coming through to make sure he makes it out to safety. Ping's going down on the Baron from both sides. Everybody knows where the arena is. Everybody knows what's on the table.
And they're pinging out where Shern could be. Because right now, still level 11 to level 11. This is their last way back into the game, you feel, unless it stalls out for such an incredibly long time. But realistically, Direwolves have done a good enough job of, you know, equalizing where they can. They're even looking for a pick now.
Once. Ooh, does a lot of damage there in a Schernfire, but there's the Hex Flash. Does fall off, maybe looking for the engage, now gonna back off. Don't wanna push any further. Just threatening, just taking control of the vision. And Shen already pushing on the bot side, ready to come in, but Caitlyn nowhere in the vicinity.
Yeah, and that's why they felt confident going for that play, because they knew Yutori Moyashi had just shopped, that he was looking for his red buff because it was off spawn. And that's a natural progression to go towards top side of the map. So they said, you know what, we have this window where we can maybe look for a pick. It did not pay off. And now we'll go back to the Baron dance.
And there is a world where Direwolves can protect that Azir. They have so much CC on this lineup to bring it home, but it would be hard. It would be have to be masterful execution, cannot afford to make those small mistakes. For now, though, they're staying in it. They're contesting the vision. They're stalling this game out. The longer we go, the less the gold means. For now, Pentagram's still massively ahead.
But it's not only that. The Direwolves are building pure tank items and pure damage items. On the side of Pentagram, they have the 50-50 items. Movement speed is useful. In a 5v5 teamfight, it's not all that useful. You know, things like Banner of Commands, they do have a gold value, but also you are paying for the active use of that item. You know, Shurelias, Protobell, all the same thing. So at a certain point, the items in combat only, not in general, but for combat purposes of 5v5, will be more advantageous to the Direwolves.
I mean, if we look at it, the RuneScape duel, right? The stats versus stats just hitting each other. Maybe that's where Direwolves eke out an advantage, as you're saying. Still, feels like a pretty big deficit, but luckily the two carries are doing a decent job of keeping up.
It still feels like a mountain. But You can climb mountains. In fact, some people do it for a living. Let's see whether the Direwolves are up to the task. And now, I love this from Pentagram. Not going for the rush into the Baron. They know they have a lead, so they use that to encroach on territory to start taking it all back. And now they're just fishing for a Kha'Zix.
Exactly. And I was saying earlier, ooh, just a red trinket. Just, you know, maybe you happen to get this lucky Scryer's Bloom to spot him out, but those traps too. See him coming. And the thing is now he's scared, because if he steps on those traps with Caitlyn nearby, he gets one shot, maybe two shot. Or maybe they're taking the Baron. That mind game is going to be so difficult to play up against. Good
yeah, absolutely. They just spotted out Triple on the blue buff as well. So now they have to be calling panic stations, because he's going to be at least 30 seconds away from that Baron. So surprised they didn't pull the trigger. Immediate teleport. Try and get across there.
Ooh, nice body block there on the Void Spike. Doesn't proc the Baron aggro, so does mean the gang can just walk out of the pit safely. Surenfire playing with fire here a little bit.
I think they're starting to be a little bit too slow here, Pentagram. They knew the Triple had gone bottom lane. Now they're pinging out a potential fight. I think at a certain point you just start up Baron with your huge tank and you say, if you want to fight, come to us.
But Pentagram, I mean, we saw them play so confidently, so quickly earlier, but that, you're right, that's starting to fade away, and it feels like we're not there yet. But if they keep playing this way for another 5-6 minutes, we may see a much more even game.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this inhibitor has been open for the last 8 minutes. This is once tanky it up, so he's not as tanky. He's going to start taking some damage, especially if he's the only one in the pit.
Blue Trinket going down, Paz off to the side, maybe hoping for the flank. 3K, they're nowhere near Surenfire. He can just leap in the pit. They decided to stop at 2K. They're looking for the fight instead. They may have caught out King. This could be everything. Triple instead trying to turn onto the Baron. One's going to the backside, and now unstoppable. The Jhin ultimate coming out. This could be the fight for Direwolves. Surenfire all alone. He's looking for a little bit of revenge. Is he going to take down once? Does manage to get it. Going to try to stealth his way out, but Ramune is firing back. Surenfire set to fall now. That is going to be a kill. Pentagram just too far ahead. Triple still alive. Maybe he can do something here, but the flash is there for Paz. Going over the wall, looking for a little bit more. Not quite going to connect the knockup. Chibi's blocking what damage he can. Triple actually a monster in this exchange. They need to get on him, but the binding has connected. That could just be death, but he does so much back. The lockup, not enough. Triple, an absolute machine. Still alive. Pentagram keep funneling resources forward. Triple keeps firing back. They do manage to break the tank, but Paz is down. And Direwolves are holding on despite all odds.
That was a 2 for 4, but you give Triple 2 more items, he probably wins that team fight. You just see they could not get to him. The peel was too much. Olaf can't get through that wall. And Triple now level 15. I mean, let's take another look at it. They mucked around with this Baron for such a long time. You see immediate access onto King. However, the peel is there. He's going to get the big shield out of Shen. And then Triple is just putting in this damage. Actually chases the jungler out. And I think Shen goes too greedy here. Not following the game plan. Does pick up the kill. But fight around your fed mid lane. Because you can see this is a 2v4. And through the choke points, this is why I said you probably want to fight him, Baron. Through the choke points, they just cannot get onto this Azir without the ultimate. And he's just pumping out machine gun damage.
Just look at the movement. The man is not getting hit by the skill shots. When he finally does, there's Chippy to block for him. That's the kind of team play we want to see.
Absolutely, and this is Chippy showing up on a pure tank. Able to kite back, goes in when he needs to. Layering CC on only the correct targets. I mean, 7,800 damage, that is a ton.
I think Pentagram, though, just realized the win condition for Direwolves. Once, though, does force to burn the ult. Surenfire wants to get one if they can take down the jungler. Maybe it's enough. The gang is there to stop it.
They force him away. They're going to be able to pick up a Mountain Drake. Third Mountain Drake would have meant that Baron is so fast. One over to the Direwolves gives a hope that if there is a pick, potentially they can pick it up with their Azir.
Triple caught out again, but the follow-up just is not there. Here comes the Hex Flash. It's going to lock up the Caitlyn. Can they find anything else? Triple now running for his life. He's already been locked out of the fight. They need to get out of here. King locked down again. Cupcake has gone in, but Triple is going to go down because Ramune finds the flank. That is it. Pentagram cutting through the carries. The Direwolves give him one chance, and Pentagram fire home.
And this is a thing. Direwolves go for the flank. We said they are a comp that can fight front to back. You don't need backline access. Just use your Azir. Use your Jhin to rip through the tanks. All of a sudden, they go for a fancy team fight. It does not work. In fact, it explodes in their face, and this will be Baron.
Surenfire on the way.
It's not quick. It's gone.
Maybe he can find the stealth. He is stealthed up. He's making his way to the pit. Is he going to do it? Cannot get it. Leaps in. So close. But once says not today to Surenfire. The confidence plays are not going to come in.
Absolutely. That's going to be the first Baron of MSI for Pentagram. Now with that, they've already broken the base in one area. They have themselves a banner of command as well as all of these Fed members, including a Fed Caitlyn. This game to hold onto now becomes nigh impossible.
Starting to push in. The inhibitor set to fall. A second one quick to follow. Ramune not even needing to group with the team. Triple. He's won one team fight so far. He does poke home. He's starting to hit hard onto those tanks. Maybe he can get an advantage here. Maybe they can buy so much time. He does take down Paz. He's stalling the siege, and Ramune not going to keep up with the push on the top lane. Pentagram backing off.
That's what I'm saying. Imagine if they were playing this one patiently. Imagine if they weren't taking forced team fights. I think they could have just pulled back to the Dragon, taken it and got out, but they went for the risky play. They give up Baron. This is what I'm talking about. Where is the front to back fight? Chippies isn't in front of his carries. He's on Dragon. Cupcake, you're in the back line by yourself. No one blocked the shot. That was a Caitlyn ultimate that nearly killed Triple. And then Ramune able to get in there. It's just an ultimate that picks it up. I mean, sloppy team fighting out of the Direwolves, and they get punished for it.
Absolutely well played by Ramune, coming in on the side, making sure that they could close that one out. And just a bit of a missed call from Direwolves. Chippy's far too low, or rather Triple far too low to get that fight started. They are starting to eke advantages back, though. Still a 10K gold deficit. Still absolutely massive in a Pentagram-favored game. But Pentagram have to play this one perfectly still. Can't afford to lose a team fight up against this Azir. Let it snowball any further.
And the one thing is we say this all the time in Oceania, sometimes a little bit tongue-in-cheek, but every inhibitor you take is about a 2,000 gold lead you give up. Because all the minions push in, you don't get to farm those two waves, and the Azir just sits in his base like a vacuum. This was before Banner of Command. So, you know, now the game's a little bit easier to close out. But how many games did we see this year so far where champions like Azir, control mages, just sat in their base and cleaned up minion wave after minion wave? He's already picked himself up at Banshee's Bay. Well, maybe he's a Void Staff or a Death Cap away from having an okay time. Shern goes in.
This is the fight Surnefire wants. Does bait out the ultimate, though. King's starting to feel himself and has to be careful. The tank's not really there to peel.
And they've just left everyone topside with a Banner of Command, Baron buff, and Triple's here by himself. They're stopping the backs. This
Triple versus the world. Surnefire needs to find a way out of this one. Goes over the wall. The Shen is there, but it might be on the wrong target because now King is isolated. Force shot comes in, but Ramune just leaps forward. Disaster striking for the Direwolves. Can't hit the blast cone. Does go over and make it to safety as Ramune starts to chase down, but meanwhile, Cupcake goes down. Triple is down. Pentagram are pushing for a little bit more. Direwolves caught up, locked down, and are set to be knocked out. LJL looking to find their first win on this stage.
And isn't it so poetic that it's Ramune as well as Yatori Mayashi, perfect games, picking up the first win.
Beautiful 19-4 in the end. LJL, one final dance. They show us just how they can move. The Nexus in their sights. The auto attacks gonna close it out in the end. One win for Pentagram.
No deaths between the mid laner and the 80 carry of Pentagram. The carryover members from Rampage coming out for a last dance, doing it so well. And the bottom lane of the LJL finally showing up, having a fantastic performance.
And honestly, this was not an early game I thought we would see from the LJL or from Pentagram in this tournament. Very strong, very confident. It slowed in the mid game for sure, but just fantastic performance in the early game.
Absolutely, and in another day two of an international tournament that Oceania unfortunately has come out and been unable to perform as a team. But one player I want to shout out in particular is Triple. This is a guy's first international event, has been around for such a long time. Came out today and showed that individually at least, he can more than stand up to his opponents and had a couple of terrific games. But at the end of the day, it's a team game, and that macro play that we were waiting for so long to see out of the LJL showed up. They tracked down Shern incredibly well, really put the screws in, came up with a victory.
Oh, wow. There it is. King giving away his jacket, even despite the loss. A hug coming in as well. Fantastic show of sportsmanship there.
Absolutely, and King is a player that has just grown so much in the last 3 years, has been on multiple teams, Direwolves onto Legacy, back to this home team of the Direwolves. And he's a player that I hope continues to grow, because he has shown moments of mechanical brilliance, and if he can just piece it together, if he can keep that healthy mental state, he certainly is a player to watch for the future.
I think the same is true for the LJL as a region. Honestly, it's just, this is the kind of game for the LJL that you want to end on, and at least we can say for the OPL and for the Direwolves, they did have some standout performances across the tournament.
Absolutely, and I think for both of these regions, it shows the inexperience, how little they get to play against international opponents because they have some terrifically high highs, then unfortunately they have some lows. And I mean, you got to remember the LJL as a region, one